You know those weirdos that collect like
Don't say signed books. Don't say signed books. Don't say signed books.
No, not signed books. That's fine. That's whatever, but it's fine. No, people that are like, I collect McDonald's ashtrays. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You do? I love those little golden tins.
You know what I like to have? The little Halloween McNuggets.
That's
that
fun.
dress up.
No, that's fun.
And just put them out for Halloween.
Yeah. Oh, you mean those nuggets that were trans indoctrinating our children?
Hello and welcome to another
identify
episode.
as a mummy. No, you don't. You're a chicken nugget.
Brad doesn't want to piss off all his Indiana fans.
Oh, hold on. You stepped on my amazing salient point.
Yes.
You ready?
I apologize.
I identify as a mummy. No, you don't. You're a chicken nugget. Get over it. We're trying to bring in more of the
hate crowd.
Yeah. Do you know how much? The followers?
I know. We need to go red.
I identify as a mayor, so now you have to make me a mayor. No, you're a cheeseburger, you insane bastard. That's the story I'm
Mayor
getting out
McCheese,
there.
yeah.
That all of the
Yeah.
McDonald's place characters,
Yes, I agree.
are all indoctrinating our children.
That makes sense.
Look at Grimace. You show me a figure that is definitely not a mascot for the entire queer community.
Can I tell you, that was
Gritty.
such a perfect moment of you having this funny thing, and then it finally faded, and you hear, "Look at Grimace,"
And it came back. It came back full force, higher than before.
Yeah,
some would say.
I think so.
Some would say it was better than the beginning.
Right.
I do think Grimace perhaps may be a solid mascot for like the LGBTQ plus community.
Well, the question, you know what? He's an amorphous thing.
How dare you? Don't say that about them.
No, that's positive. That means you could be anything.
You can be anything. Yeah. You don't misgender
Or
Grimace.
mistrust.
Is Grimace? Well, they say a he, right? Grimace is a he.
Has been referred to as a he. Yeah.
What if he's been misgendered?
Do you want to know something? I know we're supposed to start the episode.
Yep.
I always thought he was a living milkshake,
No.
but guess what he is? I know what he is.
I know what he is.
Oh, I know.
Well, let's say it on the count of three. One, two, three.
A taste bud.
Brad, you're out. You're out.
I didn't know.
You didn't know, and now you do.
I thought he was a living milkshake.
I thought you watched it. I really did.
Despite not at all being milkshake shaped.
Yeah.
Because a milkshake. What item could you get at McDonald's that ends up in that shape?
All of it.
Given,
How wet is the bag?
given world enough and time, all of it.
Yeah,
Given
yeah.
time.
Yeah.
All right, start us up.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Funbearable, coming to you live on tape from Best Video in Hamden, Connecticut.
Yeah, we're back here, baby.
It's a very exciting thing.
I am Brad Rohr.
Oh, I'm Ray Harrington.
And I'm Chuck Staten.
I'm Ray Harrington for 99 cents for one night.
If you see the Fun Bear Jamboree and you see us in Best Video in Connecticut, you know that it's time for the return of Franchise Flashback.
You know, it's Halloween as well.
It's also Halloween.
It's also-
during Halloween, especially.
Oh, Halloween.
Now-
Welcome.
Now, this is our last Franchise Flashback was for the original Halloween series.
That's right.
That's correct.
It's one of our highest viewed and listened to episodes. I think it might be the ones for without guests. I think it's the highest.
Yeah.
So that's pretty great. And
I think people thought Mr. Myers would be there. Monsieur Myers.
that is how I advertised it.
Yeah. A special guest.
Yeah, we kept teasing it.
Yeah. You know what's really exciting is this time we're at Best Video for the second time
Yes.
of our podcast lives together.
Yes.
Our shared podcast marriage. But what I'm really excited about is last time we were here, we had a wonderful friend of the pod. Some would say pet of the pod. Teo.
Some would say victim of the pod.
Oh.
Teo.
Teo.
Off screen, but so important to the feeling.
Yeah, absolutely.
Whenever you have someone in the room just
gets
counting
it.
down the minutes as you consistently talk through 13 movies, and you say, only 11 left, Teo.
Don't worry, Teo. We'll get pizza for you.
I ate one of his pieces.
Oh, no.
Yeah, we got him two.
Yeah.
So, but
And
so he still had one.
He still had the one.
Yeah.
No, he recommended the pizza pie place,
Yeah.
which was nice.
Yeah.
But this time, I like to think it's because they see how trustworthy we are.
Me
Yes.
too.
A negative person would see it as they understood that no one wants to just sit and hear this off in the distance for 4 to
Very
5
possible,
to 90
very
hours.
possible.
Right?
To 90.
Yeah. So they this is crazy. This is crazy. If you know these fun guys.
Yeah. Bears.
Yeah, bears. They walked away. The person that was working here said, I locked the door.
Yep.
When you're done, flick this light out, go out the back door, it'll lock behind you.
Yep.
Yes.
Have a great time. Goodbye.
Yes.
And so child me is thrilled right now.
Right.
We're doing like a sleepover at the video store.
Yep.
Unsupervised.
Yeah. No parents, no adults.
Can I ask a real question?
Yeah.
We couldn't sleep here tonight, right?
Here's a better question. It's maybe not could we sleep here tonight? The question is how angry are they going to be when they come to open the doors tomorrow morning and they see us
find us sleeping.
still podcasting?
Yeah.
And just being like, we just got through the 6th one.
Oh God, chuck it into the adult section.
All right, franchise flashback. What you need to understand for this series is it's very important that they get these cars washed.
And
But
they'll
no-
do it.
But nobody's coming to the car wash.
Nobody. Well, not coming to it. Coming in it is a different thing.
Yes.
You drive your car through it, it's just a bunch of dicks slapping against the windshield.
Yes.
Don't roll it down. Oh, foam everywhere.
I hope that was
It's not
foam.
soap. It's not soap.
I
All right, let's
needed
do-
a shower.
Let's do Halloween because I believe this episode should have opened with like extra Halloween spookies.
We did. We talked about the Nuggets. The Nugs started as Halloween mascots.
Yeah, I guess so.
They kind of did.
And then it went into a right-wing rant.
That came from Ray. Right wing Ray. That's not
No,
bad.
that's very
not
bad. That's very bad. You know,
If
I'm just
everyone
trying to
wants to
court
make-
a new audience.
If everyone wants to make right wing Ray memes from now to the end of time, I think that's positive.
Fine. No right-wing Ray. Red State Ray.
Oh,
Red State Ray.
yeah, just a huge fan of that Kevin Smith movie.
Yes. Can't get enough.
Yeah.
On the monitors.
You know, I was really mad about Red State. This is
Right.
why you can call me Red State Ray.
Okay.
Everybody talks about how he was going to sell the movie and then made a big announcement that he was buying his own movie.
Yes.
I was the other bidder.
Oh, no.
He outbid me. I was going to release it.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's tough.
I'm pissed.
Yeah. I
It's-
can see where you'd have that grudge.
Yeah, it's happened to me multiple times. I remember saying to one Christopher Nolan,
Yeah.
Right?
I said,
Which
your
one?
movie makes no sense. Play it all forward,
Oh.
right?
Yep.
And he got upset with that.
Yeah.
Yep.
He's like that. All right. So
But that movie became The Dark Knight. So
all right.
Dark Night of My Soul. Yeah.
So we're here for Franchise Flashback.
Yes.
It's 2023. You know, I think
Should we date it? What if we don't come out with this until 2024?
That's true. It's 2020. I mean,
Yeah, it's 20. No.
yeah,
It's
they're like,
2023.
there was an audio issue right there.
at this rate, it'll be 2024 before we finish.
Or start.
So, this year, Saw X is coming out.
Sauce.
Now, X, a lot of people don't know this. X means 10 in Roman. So that's how they decided to market the movie to the Romans, which I think is not good.
Oh, I thought it was for people that do bad Boston accents that aren't from Boston
Yeah.
and have never heard one
Right.
and try and do one for like a sketch or something like
Socks.
that. Yeah. Oh, we're watching the Socks tonight. You know,
Red
It's like,
Sox.
oh.
So Saw 10 is coming out, and I am a big fan of the original Saw movie. I am a fan of the Saw series.
You should see his bathroom.
When I became friends with Brad, he was like, "No, that's torture porn. They're going to torture me." And I was like,
I was like, I don't like any kind of porn. And Chuck's like, well, try the one I like the best.
Didn't you say the porn is torture? Yeah. That's so weird. And then Chuck said torture is porn.
Yeah.
"So
It's a very peanut butter in my chocolate in
Yeah.
my peanut butter situation.
When Chuck
in more ways than one."
Yes.
when so dumb. It's so dumb. When Chuck found out what they were doing at Guantanamo Bay, he went straight to a recruiter's office. And he was like, I want to be, let me join up. I want to be in the military.
And then so I went there and I took off my clothes and I got in the pyramid.
No. Oh, I quit.
Chuck is still AWOL.
What a weird joke.
Yeah, you're like Abu Ghraib, more like Abu Ghraib.
So anyway, Saw, the Saw films. Chuck made me watch them once upon a time.
He loves, this guy loves him. He's going to try to downplay that. He told me, he's like, in public, I feel like I have an image to uphold. I hate portrait, I hate porn, but I love it in secret. And so we love Saw. And here's the truth about that, right? He's seen the first Saw?
I see the Saw, yeah.
One Saw?
One Saw, one time.
That's it?
Yeah, I saw Saw.
Saw 2? Probably not.
I think I did see Saw 2, but I don't have
Just so long
any
ago.
memory of it. I
Right.
saw it when it came out in the theater. Is that the one with all the needles?
Yes.
Nah, needles.
All them needles.
Yeah, needles.
I don't know
Yeah.
how many of the movies you couldn't say is that the one with all the needles, but
Back to the Future.
no, I mean Saw. But anyway, so what we did,
Was he in 1 and 3?
we put a lot of work and time and effort into this. We said Ray is so excited for the release of Saw X, but he's so sad. He's like, I can't see. I don't know the story, guys.
Yeah, how do I keep up with all of this?
He's like, I don't know. And so I said,
So here's my thing with
Yeah.
the Saw films,
Yes,
right?
yeah.
I saw the first one, and which is what you asked me, and I want to clarify. I loved it. I
Yeah.
thought it was fantastic.
it's a great film and it's a great project that was
Yeah.
made. And I get some cool behind the scenes stuff that I'm going to tell you guys too.
Yeah, and when I saw it, like it did genuinely thrill me. Like
For sure.
I think I joked on the podcast a long time ago that when I saw for the first time, it was like a bootleg on a computer in my dorm room.
That's a
with
cool
a
way to
gal.
see it. It feels
Yeah.
even more special.
And I was so like thrown by the twist. I stood up out of the bed
Yeah.
and would not shut up about Saw that night.
Yes.
And so I did not do anything else.
You Saw
know what I mean?
blocked yourself.
I saw blocked. I did a Saw block. Yeah.
A little sawdust, but so
Loved it. Second one, I remember vague bits and pieces. The only thing people really remember, I think, from that one is because this is all I remember, is the big old batch of needles.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say this. I'm a proponent of the series. We'll talk about why and all the stuff. I think Saw 1, at the very least, Saw 1, I think, is a very admirable project
Yeah.
that was made by 2 Melbourne Film School students at the time, which is really, really cool and interesting. But what we're going to do, Brad and I took the time, we put our lives aside, we went back, we watched all 9 previous Saw movies.
Yeah. That was a
We
mistake.
both did, right?
Yeah.
And we said, we got to tell Ray, right? Ray's busy. This guy, he has a child, as he always says. He's a wife, 2 dogs. This guy doesn't have time to watch it, but he wants to see Saw X.
Yep.
He's coming to New York next Friday, and I've already made plans for us all to see Saw X. I bought the tickets. He doesn't know that part yet. He just knows he's coming to New York. And now you're going to be all caught up to see Saw X and be just as excited and caught up.
Oh, good.
So, as Brad and I went through, we wrote our little descriptions of the movies to fill in Ray, and we're going to put up some pictures so that no one gets lost. I'll be like flashcards, like, who's Dr. Gordon?
Carrie Elwes.
It's Carrie Elwes, Ray.
Oh, yeah, it's The Princess Bride.
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah.
And so what we're going to do is
Or a bad possible stepfather to that small boy who's the son of a big liar.
Oh, yes.
What was that movie called? Yeah, it's The Claw.
By the way,
It's great.
Carrie Elwes,
Yeah.
so awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I really think, like, if you look at all the stuff that he's done, it's great. And a lot of people don't know this. When Jim Carrey made the Disney's A Christmas Carol, that's all like CG, which I think is actually pretty good. You know how he played against himself the whole time? It was Carrie Elwes playing every other part in every other scene,
Oh, wow.
which is really interesting.
Yeah.
Because they're close friends too. But
I love that.
me too. So we're gonna go through all the movies. This is part 1. We're gonna go through 1 through 4 today. And Ray, you're gonna walk out of here as a Saw. Like, you could go to a class that has Saw as the main protocol and synopsis, and you're gonna come out
Subject?
a graduate with a doctorate in Sawnology. Saw. I wish there was a. What's it called? Not a vowel.
Sciences.
What's the other one? Vowel. A consonant at the end of Saw, because then that would make more sense.
There
but you're
is
gonna
a
be,
consonant at the end of Saw. It's a
well,
W.
it's just a W. It's too soft. You're going to be an expert on Saw.
Okay.
And the audience, if you're saying, I want to go see Saw X, I don't have time to watch 9 Saws, what can I do? I don't have that many hours. I have almost as many hours.
It might take less time to watch all 9 films than to listen to us do the intro for this franchise flashback.
So we're going to flash back to Saw and give you the facts and the truth, and you're going to find out all the story.
I am just now really remembering how this went last time. And good Lord, welcome to the torture. Because by the end of it, my brain was mush.
Well, that's because there were 13 Halloween movies.
There's only
Brad.
9 Saws.
So really, it's
there's
only
only
gonna be
9.
So it's 35% less.
And with something, man, with a plot line that's so rich.
It is. That's what
in order to dive into it.
This is what's interesting.
And pull it out and go, what does the irony killer do now?
You're
Yeah.
going
Because he's the irony killer. That's how I view
Sort
him.
of.
You're gonna
I'm looking
figure
at
out-
Brad.
It changes.
You're going to
okay.
figure out that this is a rich world, and we're going to have some talks about that. It's a rich world
okay.
with many
And that'll all be
many-
on our Patreon for our bonus conversations.
many families are involved in the life of Jigsaw.
Okay.
And we're going to find out all about the family.
Now, see, it's tricky because in the very first one, they're like, hey, this guy, he's going to die. He's got a ticking clock inside his body. called cancer.
You're such a hungry student. I'm so happy to be your teacher.
Something about Chuck saying that. I'd pull my kid out of that school so fast.
Yep.
All right, Brad, hit us up. Tell us about Saw. What year did it come out?
Saw 1.
2004.
2004?
I thought it was
2000
3.
Yeah, it might be 3.
2003. Saw 1.
I think it was 4. 4.
Right
Right.
around there.
Can I be honest?
Yeah.
Oh, could have been. It was either late 3 or early 4.
I think it was, yeah.
Because I was a.
It was October of 2003.
Okay.
They were all October releases until I
Got
think
it.
7.
Okay.
Or 9. Saw 1, Chuck's note, this movie essentially has the feel of an ultra low budget 7.
I do think that. I think that was part of the
Okay.
inspiration
I can
of
see
it.
that, yeah.
But it's so low budget that it kind of changes what it is.
Yeah, yeah.
Because 7 has a lot of like outdoor scenes and all that rainy atmosphere, but Saw mostly takes place in one room.
Yeah.
Adam, played by Lee Winnell,
Yep.
awakens in a dilapidated bathtub with his ankle chained to a pipe.
And you can tell he's going to be the main character in this particular film because his name is Adam, and Adam is the most generic name you can give a main character.
Starts with an A. As we were going through it, I'm like, sometimes when I write, I name characters,
Yeah.
Adam, Brad, Charles, Derek, Eric, like just so I can
So it's easy.
type in one letter and it
Yeah.
auto-completes.
Yeah.
And I think Saw 5.
And that's for your slash fiction
Yeah.
of Family Matters?
Yes.
Weird.
Family Matters will come into play in the Saw universe.
Oh, okay. Very nice. Can I ask a quick question?
Yes.
Who wrote Adam's name on that piece of paper?
Me.
Oh, you're a killer. You are an animal madman. Look at that Adam.
Don't look at the Adam.
That is what font is that? Is that You'll Never Find Me font?
All right.
You won't catch me.
That font was "You'll never find the body."
Yeah.
So one sentence in. All right, sentence 2. Across the room, Dr. Gordon, played by Carrie Elwes, also wakes up similarly chained. Between them is the corpse of an apparent suicide victim holding a gun in one hand and a microcassette recorder in the other. Each of the men find a microcassette tape in their pockets. They play the tapes. Adam's tape urges him to try to survive, while Gordon's tape orders him to kill Adam by 6 o'clock or his wife and daughter will be killed.
Don't let Adam hear this part.
Yeah.
I want you to... Shh, is he gone? All right. I want you to kill Adam. But don't let him... Don't even look over. Don't even look over. Kill the other guy. All right. Good luck. Have a good day. Bye. Love you.
God,
No,
it was-
wait. Why did I say that?
It was connected to Bluetooth the whole time. Adam finds a bag containing 2 hacksaws inside the toilet. Both men try to saw through their chains, but Adam's saw breaks. Gordon realizes that the saws are not intended for the chains, but to cut off their feet.
By the way, Saw, the original escape room.
Yes, very much so.
The original escape room. Now people pay money to go get sawed.
And there are stuff like that in there. Like there's like if you turn the lights off, there's a glow in the dark.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, and like
that's
the
good.
little mini cassette recorder
Yes.
made me think of that.
Yep.
That's what people pay for.
Yep.
That's
They
a
just
good-
pay
that's-
for an escape room. Now, what if you paid your money and blacked out and came to, and you were in a full-on Saw situation.
Then I'm like, oh, then it's a total recall situation where you don't know if that's real or if it's...
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. Gordon identifies their captor as the Jigsaw Killer, a serial killer testing his victim's will to survive through lethal traps referred to as games. Gordon knows about him because he was once a suspect. 5 months prior, Gordon, while discussing a patient's terminal brain cancer in technical terms, was approached and interrogated by Detective Tapp, played by Danny Glover, and his partner, who found Gordon's pen light at the scene of one of Jigsaw's games. In this scene, we also meet Gordon's hospital orderly Zepp, played by Benjamin from Lost, who reminds Dr. Gordon that his patient is a human being and not just a patient. Among the games...
We're only putting up the really, really important people.
Yeah.
Like, really important.
Okay.
Among the games include a man having to crawl through a maze made of razor-sharp wires and a naked man covered in flammable wax required to use a candle in a dark room to identify a combination to a safe with a key to his freedom inside.
Which one would you rather do?
I gotta say candle.
Candle.
Crawling through all those wires. Whew. I've seen the end of 7 Psychopaths. I think I could die on fire.
You know what I'm going to say? I don't want to do either one.
Oh, I wish I had thought of that.
I don't want to. Sounds like these things suck. I don't know what I'm saying.
Both men perish in their traps.
Oh,
That's the part that really reminds me of 7, is when you see the aftermath of the two people that are caught. It's so similar to the 7 killing.
Gordon's alibi cleared him, but he agreed to view the testimony of heroin addict Amanda, the only known survivor of one of Jigsaw's traps. I'm supposed to describe the trap here. It's a reverse bear trap. So essentially, she has 60 seconds. The trap is hooked into her upper and lower jaw.
Yeah.
After 60 seconds, it pops open and rips her head open.
It Pac-Mans her face.
Yes.
That is the famous one.
Yeah, that's the
Bear
iconic
trap is
Yeah.
like the iconic trap.
But she was able to escape. There was a key hidden in what she was told was a dead body across the room.
Yeah.
And as she was viciously scalpeling the body, the man was alive. On heavy opiates. He was dying of an opiate overdose, and she was just going to town instead of like a surgical thing and reaching in.
Yeah.
She was stab, stab, stab. It was very odd.
Well, I don't think she was in the right mindset.
That's true. She
to
did
take
have a
her
reverse bear
time.
trap on her head. So.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
Danny Glover and his partner later find Jigsaw's warehouse. There, they nearly apprehend Jigsaw, but when Danny Glover's partner pursues Jigsaw down a hallway, the partner accidentally triggers a shotgun trap, which kills him.
Oh.
In the present...
Now, because his family made shotguns that
nope,
killed children.
not explained.
See, this one is just like...
So he's not ironically killed?
No.
Well, they're mostly
the
ironically
rule.
killed, but this is a trap to stop people from entering Jigsaw's warehouse. But it's like a moat.
But Jigsaw needs to have...
How could
Yeah.
you do that, though,
Yeah.
if you don't know who's going to break into your warehouse?
It's Jigsaw. He does research.
But he won't know who.
Check his Google search history.
He does later say in the series, like, if you study humans long enough,
Yeah.
you know what they're going to do.
Right.
But in it,
They're going to walk into my shotgun.
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking.
in
Kapow,
the present,
motherfucker.
Dr. Gordon's wife and daughter are held captive at their apartment as their masked captor watches Adam and Gordon through a hidden camera.
That's right.
Dr. Gordon's apartment is also being watched by Danny Glover, who has become obsessed with the Jigsaw case after being discharged from the police following his partner's death. Glover remains convinced that Dr. Gordon is the killer. Back in the bathroom, Gordon recounts his abduction in a parking garage by a pig-masked figure. Adam recalls his own abduction when he returned home the night before to find a puppet in his darkroom where he stored photos of Gordon, whom he was privately investigating. The puppet is named Billy. All the important characters on the corkboard.
Was Billy... When did they call it Billy?
That's what Wikipedia
Was that a
says.
later
It's never
movie?
It's never really mentioned in scripts, like on screen.
But he's just named Billy?
He's just named
There's no
Billy.
scene in like Saw 7
Right.
where he's like, come on, Billy, time to get to work. By the way, I'm still alive. Fuck you, cancer.
I don't think so.
No?
I don't think it.
Yep.
Okay.
Adam admits to Gordon that he was paid by Danny Glover to spy on him with his private investigation skills. Adam reveals his knowledge of Gordon's affair with one of his medical students.
Oh,
Not
no.
great.
Gordon deduces that the affair is the reason Jigsaw chose him to be tested. Adam finds a photo of Gordon's family's captor, whom Gordon identifies as Zepp, the hospital orderly from earlier, Ben from Lost.
Whoa, it's all coming together.
This is who has Gordon's families trapped. Oh no, it's 6 o'clock. Zepp, seeing that Gordon still has not killed Adam and
had
has
to kill him by
therefore
6.
failed the game, goes over to Gordon's wife and daughter to shoot them, but the wife frees herself and fights him. Since Danny Glover is still watching Gordon's house, the struggle attracts his attention, and he saves Gordon's wife and child before chasing Zepp to the warehouse where Gordon and Adam are trapped.
Ah,
Here, Danny G is shot in the chest and killed after a brief fight. Gordon, only aware of the gunshots and screaming, reacts in desperation. He finally succumbs to the game and saws off his foot, then shoots Adam in the stomach using the gun that was left by the corpse in the center of the room. Zepp finally enters the bathroom to kill Gordon, but Adam, having survived the gunshot, bludgeons him to death with the lid of a toilet tank. Gordon crawls out of the bathroom, crying that he will find help for them both, while Adam searches Zepp's body for a key. At this point, Adam reaches into Zepp's jacket and finds something. But it isn't a key. He finds another tape. Adam plays the tape, which reveals that Zepp was just another victim of Jigsaw, also following rules, to obtain an antidote for a slow-acting poison in his body. He was an innocent victim in Jigsaw's charade. Suddenly, the corpse in the room begins to rise. Turns out it's John Kramer, the real Jigsaw killer. Jigsaw, he was still the Jigsaw killer at this point. Jigsaw tells Adam that the key to his chain was in the bathtub. It went down the drain when Adam had first awoken and drained the water. Adam attempts to shoot Jigsaw with Zepp's gun, but Jigsaw electrically shocks him through his chain to stop him. As he exits the bathroom, Jigsaw is framed as a silhouette in the doorway, and he triumphantly squeals, "Game over," before sealing the door, leaving Adam to die.
Yeah, that's true.
and that's the first Saw.
And you know that, I don't know about you, but I took when Carrie Elways was, shuffling away on his arms, he gonna die.
Yes.
Yeah.
He gonna
He's
die.
bleeding out.
Yeah.
He's clearly bleeding out.
He has just sawed his own leg off
Right.
with no anesthesia.
Right.
No clotting agents, like nothing.
Now, let me give you some background of this. It's Lee Wanell and James Wan made this movie. Lee Wanell wrote the script. James Wan directed it. And they basically, I didn't know this. I don't know if either of you guys know this. They were from Australia, and they were in the Melbourne School of Film or whatever.
Oh, so in Australia, it's called SAR.
Yes.
Yeah, he called that a Shaw.
Hi, you want to go see SAR?
So-
No.
And get this, James Wan said all the films that are made in Australia are actually
Yeah.
funded by the Australian government.
Yeah.
And he said there was no chance they were going to make our movie, so we were going to make it independently. And one of the people they were working with to try to talk to about making it got them a meeting in the U.S., which they thought was crazy. They're like, this is never going to work out.
Yeah.
But if we're going to go all the way to the U.S., we might as well bring some tape to show them proof of concept. So they shot Adam, Lee Wanell, as Amanda's character. And they did basically this scene of the post, this person is the person that survived the trap. They just did that. They sent it over. They sent it to the production company, and while they were in the air flying, the production company loved it so much that they made a deal before they landed
Yeah.
Wow.
to make it. So that production company was really behind it, but it was going to be a straight-to-DVD movie. They thought it was going to be a $1 million budget, which is very low budget. I think they had 17 days to film the whole thing. And then what happened was they started making it, and there's a million stories from the production. I'm not going to get into that, but if you look online, there's a Legacy of Saw documentary that's on there. It's an hour of all the scenes. There's a ton of stuff that had to be cut. A bunch of the scenes in the movie, we were just talking about how Amanda was stabbing someone. It's all silhouette, and that was shot way later when they're we don't have enough footage, and so they just did it later.
Yeah.
And they premiered it at Sundance, and the word of mouth was so crazy that they had 3 sold out midnight showings at Sundance.
Yeah.
And that happened, and the studio, which was Lionsgate, was like, man, there's a lot of buzz. Let's do a test audience, a test screening. And it did so well at the test screening that Lionsgate didn't believe the filmmakers that was the score. So they did a second test screening somewhere else.
Yeah.
And it scored even higher. So they said, we're going to make this a full release, and they released it in the theaters, and it made $100 million in the box office.
Yeah.
Which is really cool, because it's truly a story of 2 people with a vision being Let's just make this thing.
Yeah.
And it kind of came from the idea of James Wan was actually in the hospital and he thought about what would I do if I had cancer and I only knew I had a year left to live. And he started thinking about the idea
Murder.
Well, he started thinking
Yeah.
about the idea of Jigsaw and the mindset of like trying to make people appreciate what they have now, which is the idea behind Jigsaw, is that he's like, you did something wrong. I'm going to punish you and bring you close to death. So make you almost die so you appreciate your life more and stop being wrong.
It's weird because that is definitely explained to Amanda, and I think it's hinted at with the guy who had to crawl through the razor wire because he had like
Right.
cut his wrist in an attempt to, was it an actual suicide attempt? Was it a cry for help? But now he has to crawl through all this all these razors to show how much he wants to live, But like, there's no explanation on the safe guy with it covered in fire.
That's the thing is in the
So it's not all irony kills that we know of.
that's the thing is they said that sometimes they showed up to set and the people that were like helping them, the producer and everything was like, today we only have time to shoot one of these two scenes, so one of them has to leave. So James Wan looks at the movie and he's like, there's a ton missing from the first Saw. So I think that might be why some of that stuff is missing. But really cool project. What's funny is like it was shot 20 years ago, so it was shot in 35 millimeter. So now shooting it would be way cheaper. Like they could shoot an identical movie for way less money in probably a similar amount of time. But
No, it is,
so it was huge. It was huge.
It's one of those rare cases. It's like obviously the movie I think of is Blair Witch.
Yeah.
Exactly.
In
We were
terms of just
discussing
like
it on
this,
the way here.
That's right. Yeah, this is just a tiny, low budget indie horror that just sweeps the nation.
You know what else? It's funny because we talked about this a lot, specifically me and Ray, Brad as well, about the idea of horror is where you can go to do something like that.
Yeah.
And Halloween was like that.
Sure.
Paranormal Activity was like that. All these different movies that are examples of micro budget, no big stars. I mean, like James Wan talks about how lucky he was to have Danny Glover and Cary Elwes agree to do it for such a small amount of money.
Right.
But it is one of those micro budget things that just got out and people really responded.
Yeah.
So here's where the story gets, just like everything we talk about with sequels, it made a lot of money. So there is no chance that they're not making a sequel.
Right.
And so the Saw sequel, well, maybe I'll do this little behind the scenes tidbit after we get into it.
Right.
But so because it made so much money, they had to make a sequel. So we go to Saw 2. But I will say, James Wan, director, went on to do, it's funny because for a while, Saw was the most successful horror series of all time. And it's currently beat by a few series. And the number one is...
Insidious.
No, it's the other one. There's
don't
two huge horror series, Insidious, and what's the one with Rhode Island? The Warren
The
family.
haunted house one?
Yeah, that family, the Warren family. they're like-
Conjuring. They
the
got it.
Conjuring.
There we go.
Yes.
That's the number one highest now, and James
Yeah.
Wan is also the director of that series and also the director of the Insidious series. And he also directed some of the Fast and Furious movies.
That's right.
And
Some
there's
of the best ones.
I agree. And there's a movie that I really like that not a lot of people know about called Upgrade that came out about 5 years ago. And I think it's great. Directed by Lee Wanell, the writer of Saw, who was Adam in the movie.
Yeah.
So it's cool because it really did kickstart a lot of other projects that wouldn't exist without this first project.
Also, James Wan ghost directed Grand Budapest Hotel.
Wow.
What does that mean?
Yeah.
Tell me about this.
It was a joke.
Oh.
I did a goof. I wanted to pick a Wes Anderson film.
I thought there was more.
And Grand Budapest Hotel is one of his best.
Well,
so I went
I'm
with that.
I'm excited for the next Star Wars film that's going to be directed by Billy.
I will say James Wan did do two other movies that I like that are not huge. One of them is Dead Silence, which is very schlocky. It's just about like ventriloquist dummies.
Yeah.
It feels like a big Goosebumps episode, but I really enjoy it. And then there's another movie that I think is actually really great with John Goodman and Kevin Bacon called Death Sentence. And James Wan, that was his second movie after this, which I love. Have you seen that movie?
No.
That's a good one.
You would really like it. It's not a horror
Sounds
movie.
familiar though.
It's more like very dark action.
Yeah.
It's about-
Oh, I do know this movie.
It's about it. Like Kevin Bacon's a dad.
Yeah.
And his son is like a big hockey player, and they go to a gas station after a hockey game.
That's right.
And his son is killed in a gang initiation, and the court fails to convict the gang.
Right.
And so he basically goes on a one-man mission
Yeah.
to kill the gang.
Yep.
And John Goodman is the arms dealer.
Right.
That gives him guns and stuff.
No, I
And
do remember this now.
I really
because
like it.
There was a period right around when Saw was out, that early 2000s era.
Yeah.
Where revenge
Yes.
action
Yeah.
was like there was torture porn movies that were happening.
Yeah.
Like Hostel and all that
Right.
bullshit, right? Like tons of those movies were coming out.
Yeah.
And then there was like justified murder revenge movies.
Right.
Yes.
Where a ton of them came out, and that was one that
Like
came
somebody
out
put
right around
onions
it.
on someone else's sandwich.
think-
murder justified.
Was Enough one by Jennifer
Jennifer
Lopez?
That was one. That's a little different. That's more like that's more like a woman in a bad situation.
Yeah.
Like
You're talking more
getting
like
out
Last
and
House on the Left.
it's
Which the remake
right,
did come out around
like
that time too.
there's a lot of movies where it's like they just do the simple premise of like this person killed your kid, this person killed your wife, she was pregnant too, and it's like now this person's gonna go on a murder spree,
Yeah.
but we can get behind it because they were wronged and they're clearly bad guys.
Well, that's
it's bad guys.
That's like a genre overseas. Like Old
Mm-hmm.
Boy was built off of that, and that director who made Old Boy also made Sympathy for Mr. Vengeance, which is a pretty that's a pretty it's clear name of what it is.
Sure,
But there's
yeah.
a bunch of movies that are like that. And
Yeah.
the original Last House on the Left is
Although
for sure
sympathy for Mr. Vengeance, and then there's sympathy for Mrs. Vengeance.
Baby Vengeance.
No, seriously,
really?
there is. Yes, there's a Vengeance trilogy.
Wow.
I'm not kidding. And those are actually great and thoughtful.
I bet.
My favorite one, like
My favorite one
Old Boy's
is
great.
Sympathy for Grimace Vengeance.
Grimacing for
there's I can't remember which of them. I think it's Mrs. Vengeance or Lady Vengeance. Sorry.
yeah.
It's fantastic where there was someone who had abducted and killed children, a
Yeah.
series of children. It turned out to be a teacher, I believe, or something
Yeah.
like that. This woman joins forces with a detective who was like on the cold case,
Yeah.
finds out who the guy was, gets a group of the parents together at the old abandoned school,
Yeah.
abduct the bad guy, who is like, you know, he can go down for this. They find the
Yeah.
smoking gun, which is videotapes.
Yeah.
Horrible, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So they sit all of the parents down in these school desks and stuff like that, and they're like, "Look, he's in the other room. There is proof. Here's the video for your kid. Here's the video for your kid." Has them watch it. It's fucking brutal. And then they're like, "So, we can call the police, and the police can come, or we can do it."
Wow.
And
That's
what do you
cool.
want to do?
See, that's fun.
They argue about it.
Yeah.
It gets
Yeah.
a little, 12 angry men in
Right.
there,
Yeah.
and they're figuring out what to do, and then they each kind of just take a turn going in there and
That's awesome.
taking it out on the guy.
Yep.
That's fun. I
It
think
was
I think
it
it's
was
fun.
it was an incredible movie. It was so good.
If
But
you
that
fe-
director's amazing.
I think that movies that are essentially like dark horror, like either horror or dark action, like
Yeah.
they feel like novellas, are kind of like the best. You know, I just
Sure.
saw for the first time. I just watched Cobweb. Did you watch it yet?
I haven't seen it yet, but I want to.
I
yeah.
think that both of you guys will really, really enjoy it. But that's what it felt like. It felt like this is a really small story. You live in it a little bit, which has
Yeah.
that. There's a really clear conclusion. Maybe there's a big choice like that, and that's awesome. That's fun.
heard that some people have seen Cobweb and have said, and they were going to put it on the poster, but it's in one of those commercials where they show people outside the theater going, "It's like staying at Chuck Staten's house," is what they said. That's what I heard.
I did. That was Brad.
Yeah,
It was me.
but listen, this isn't this episode of the podcast is not about Cobweb, and it's not about
Mr. Vengeance?
all the fantastic
Vengeance?
films of the Vengeance trilogy.
No.
All right, Chuck, we're getting ready
We're
for
into the
Saw
most creative part of
2.
this entire talk. What came after Saw 1?
Yes. All right. And so we do know, I mean, Adam was definitively killed. Sorry.
Oh,
Adam. That
man.
stinks. I'm sorry, buddy. And then also, Danny Glover was definitively killed.
Yep.
And I'm not saying we're going to have enough pins for everybody in the whole series, but I'm going to take these two off because they were
Okay.
definitively killed.
And you're burning those in a ceremony.
I'm going
is
to
that
piss on
correct?
them, yeah.
Oh,
Well, his pee burns. So,
it does.
Saw 2. A man is killed by a saw trap. Whatever. At the scene of this murder, Detective Allison Carey.
Now, let's just one thing. One thing we talked about beforehand was keeping the descriptions kind of succinct.
yeah.
So if something doesn't really play into the later part of the movie, we kind of are just giving you the beats of it. So in the opening
Yeah.
of Saw 2, a guy gets,
Sawed.
we could talk about the whole trap, but there's like, I read about it, 100 people get killed in the Saw series, and each of them are these complicated traps. So we can't tell the story of every trap.
Irony traps.
All we have to say sometimes is going to be someone got killed in the beginning of the movie. That's the inciting incident. Let's move it forward.
That's fair. How come Gordon's still up there?
He just didn't get definitively killed. We don't know.
Off screen.
If he comes back, I'm going to be so sick.
You're fucking dumb
I'm going to get
face.
so sick. Dumb.
You had that like.
It was, yeah, because I don't like that. I don't like that idea.
At the scene of this murder, Detective Allison Carey,
Okay.
played by Dizzy from Starship Troopers.
It's Dizzy? Oh, Dizzy got done dirty. Can I just say that? Dizzy got done dirty.
That's the sequel to Starship Troopers.
Dizzy was always the best one. Okay.
Yep.
She could actually act versus.
Oh, she's great. She's.
Yes.
I mean, I like.
I
Starship.
love her. Yeah.
She finds a message for her former partner, Detective Eric Matthews,
That's now here. Now
What?
hear me out. Hear me out.
played by
Eric Matthews.
Donnie Wahlberg.
Donnie Wahlberg.
Oh, no. Everybody's favorite family. The Wahlbergs.
Now it's funny. We could have gone with the joke of he's Eric Matthews, or we could just say Donnie Wahlberg. I think we say Donnie Wahlberg because his face is the face of Donnie Wahlberg.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. The face of Donnie Wahlberg. Donnie Wahlberg. I like that.
Played
Well-
by.
Oh, real quick. I just want to say with Dizzy, my wife, Kalina, let slip 2 weeks ago. Oh, I've never seen Starship Troopers.
Oh.
And I went, let's remedy that now.
That's fun.
Yeah. Donnie Wahlberg joins Carey and Officer Rigg in leading a SWAT team to the factory, which produced the lock from the earlier trap.
Hold on, I gotta find Rigg. This guy's great. Now I'll say this. This is my personal opinion. One of the best and most compelling characters in the series, I'd say, is Sergeant Rigg.
Sergeant Rigg.
Officer, sergeant, detective. He plays a lot of roles.
Yeah.
Okay.
The police are caught in a little trap or two, but they manage to apprehend Jigsaw Kramer, the Jigsaw Killer, who indicates computer monitors showing 8 people trapped in a single house, including the only known survivor, Amanda,
She's in
Yes.
Saw 2.
and
Yes.
Donnie Wahlberg's son, Daniel, not pictured,
Yep.
and 6 other victims, Xavier, Jonas, Addison, Abby, Gus, and Laura, who is
doesn't
played
matter.
by the younger sister from Seventh Heaven,
Oh,
Beverly Mitchell.
the names.
Yes.
The names alone, I just hear like Abacus's best friend.
I'll say this, judging by the fact that none of them have last names, imagine how well they're going to fare.
Yeah.
A nerve agent has filled the house and therefore their bodies and will kill them all within 2 hours, but Jigsaw assures Wahlberg that if Wahlberg follows the rules of his own game, he will see his son again. Just talk with him. Listen to him. During their conversation, Jigsaw reveals to Wahlberg that his main motivation for the games was his own botched suicide attempt after his cancer diagnosis, which led to a newfound appreciation for life. The games are intended to help his victims develop the same appreciation.
And that's when a montage of all the traps happens and you hear Lust for Life.
Yeah,
The song.
Yeah. But I do think that's a pretty good thing for a killer to have as like a gimmick. Let's call it a gimmick.
Sure.
You know what I mean? It's kind of a fun way.
motive.
Yeah. It's fun to say, well, we don't just want to have another killer. Like, what can
Yeah.
we do? And that's a fun world to live in.
It's tough because it's like I understand the motivation, but at the same time, it is also. But also, I'll kill you if you get too close to my my house with a shotgun attached to a string. I will do that as well. Listen, I want people to appreciate life, but I will take yours if you even remotely mess with my ability to play my little games. Yep.
Yeah. Yes. And
Okay.
so I will. So this movie, it's a little bit more like, as opposed to Saw 1, which is just the bathroom thing, and then they kind of figure out like, how did this happen? This is like there's like a trap house with all these people in it.
Yeah.
And this comes back as a theme throughout the rest of the series.
Okay. You know, a trap house is like a thing, right?
I know.
Okay.
I
all
know.
right.
So there's El Chapo's trap house,
Yeah.
and then outside of that, you see Jigsaw with Donnie Wahlberg and the police,
Yeah.
and they're like, "Tell us," and they're slapping him around, and he's like, "I have cancer." Yeah. One, two.
Come on, look at my picture. I clearly look like an angry, bitchy old lady.
Doesn't he?
I've got the pursed little mouth of a disappointed old lady.
I'm not going to insult Jigsaw.
You know what? I'll say it right here. Fuck you, Jigsaw. I'll go ahead and do it. I don't give a shit. Oh, what's this little row of candy corns on the floor? Right? But doesn't he look right here like a woman who was told that there is no senior discount? Right?
Yeah.
Like there's no
disappointed.
discount for anybody over 65.
Oh, really? Really?
We were,
What's your name and what are you? What would you say is like a vice that you have? Just a quick
we
question.
were coming up with traps that we could put you in. And
Why?
For the podcast.
For the podcast.
So I thought of one, and it was that your penis is going to get snapped in a mousetrap, and to get out of it, you have to snap your testicles in a mousetrap. But then I'm like, no, it has to do with like him as a person. Though.
Yeah.
I forgot about that
And
part.
quite frankly, I'd rather have my penis snapped in a mousetrap than a testicle.
Mine was we're going to put you in a reverse bear trap, and you can either go out and do 5 minutes of stand up that we wrote,
Yeah.
or
it goes
reverse
off.
bear trap yourself. Yeah.
All right. Where's the show?
It's at the Wilbur.
Oh, I'm gonna Pac-Man myself.
Your
my
headline.
penis.
That's the first. I'm like, fine, I'll do the jokes, and then I go out and I read the first index card, and it says this joke is where you put your penis in a mousetrap. I'm like, really? All right, fine. Huh?
The
'Cause I
eight.
can't talk as a little.
Show where your phone.
Give me a hug. It's so dumb.
The eight.
We're only in the beginning of the second one.
The 8 people in the house are informed by a microcassette recorder that antidotes are hidden throughout the house.
And didn't the recording go something like,
This is the story, true story, of 8 people picked to live in a house to find out when people stop being. What is it? Stop being
real.
Stop being polite and start being real. The real world.
Actually,
Jigsaw.
they were told that that they had something in common, and they spent 0 time trying to figure that out.
They're like, yeah. So yeah, that's obviously that's
Raise
part-
your hand if you've had sex.
So one of the things that Jigsaw does, if people haven't watched Saw or anything, is he puts little micro cassette tapes and then you put it in a thing and you press play and it goes like, he's like, hello Ray, and Ray's like, oh damn it, and then he says you have to do this crazy shit.
Yeah. It is definitely like one of the isms of him. Right?
I did a real huge one to Brad one time on Christmas where Jigsaw gave him I'll tell you about that after.
I love it.
Yeah.
Like if Freddy Krueger, everybody knows the glove, right?
Yeah.
Which Jigsaw, the traps.
Yep.
Right.
But his like calling everybody bitch, Freddy Krueger, is, the little tapes.
Yeah.
He's got the little tapes.
Yes.
Which you got to think, Jigsaw. You want to find Jigsaw.
Yeah.
What you need to do is find the one Radio Shack that is still open.
Yeah.
Because that's
You guys get any more?
No, it's him going to
little-
Savers and
You guys
Goodwill.
get any little tapes in? Any little tapes?
Actually, getting it for his Christmas present, the year that I tortured him with all those,
yeah.
was really tough to get all the actual stuff to do
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
And I will say it's interesting because he does a thing where like either the TV will come on and it'll go like, and then go to like a VHS tape of Billy the Puppet telling him that.
Yeah.
Or it'll be the micro cassette tape.
Yeah.
Or Billy will ride his tricycle out into a room and do it. He's a puppet.
That's right, yeah.
And I watched a bunch of these, and about halfway through, I watched them with my friend Staten Island Gina. She goes, is that a doll? And I'm like, what did you think? And she thought that Billy was a little person
She was wrong.
that just stayed on the tricycle the whole time.
I have an idea for traps. It involves big stacks of books.
All right, keep going, Brad.
You never wanted to crack a book in your life.
So the tape provides a cryptic clue that wasn't cryptic at all. Gus ignores a warning note and uses the key provided with the cassette on the door, despite it saying, do not use on the door.
That was my one thing. Guys, my one thing. Oh, fuck. Come on.
This triggers a revolver through the peephole that kills Gus.
Ooh!
Ray, how
Can you
often...
imagine getting a revolver in the peephole?
You just get a mousetrap. Jeez.
Yeah.
Ray, how often do you look through a peephole when unlocking a door? If the answer is every time,
Yeah.
this trap would have killed you.
Oh, no.
If you are a normal person,
Yeah.
you might have been okay. It's very frustrating that, like,
Yeah.
whatever. Once the door opens...
Did it kill him?
Oh, very much so.
What an idiot.
Once the door
Gus.
opens, they search the house and find a basement where Abby, who helped with abducting the other victims, is killed in a furnace trap while trying to retrieve 2 doses of antidote. In another room, Xavier's test involves digging through a pit filled with syringes to retrieve a key to a steel door in 3 minutes.
There's a
The needles.
big old box of needles.
But he instead throws Amanda into the pit.
That's
This
right.
part makes me feel icky.
Oh, it is the worst. It is.
That's one of the most
Yeah.
cringy Saw parts to me.
Yeah.
And one thing I think I would like to point out, because I didn't say this, everyone thinks of Saw as torture porn.
Yeah.
The first movie has no on-screen gore, really. There's no, like, when he saws through his foot.
Yeah.
And they talk
But
about,
that's because like
it's implied.
it's all implied in the original.
Yeah.
And then once you get into sequel territory, it's like do all the gross, horrible things.
It's one of those things where you say, well, this movie made 100 times its budget, so I
Yeah.
guess we can raise it to $10 million.
Guys, if
And
we
so-
do it for 20 million,
Yeah.
that's 200 million.
Amanda retrieves the key, but Xavier fails to unlock the door in time. Throughout the game, the group barely discusses connections between them, and they eventually determine they've all been previously incarcerated except for Daniel, Donnie Wahlberg's son.
And Abby was in a sitcom,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
No, Amanda.
No.
Amanda
Yep.
was in a sitcom.
Was she?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know.
The actress?
No, I didn't
Yep.
know that.
Yeah, she was in a sitcom. I can't remember which sitcom it was right now.
I believe it.
She played a dumb gal. She
Wow.
played like a dumb broad.
Yeah,
that was
yeah.
her character.
Very smart.
Right, I get
No,
it.
and I'm not saying all broads are dumb. There are smart broads. I don't like this character. I don't like this character.
Rest day right.
Ugh.
Jigsaw reveals to Wahlberg that their connection was that all of these people were framed or railroaded by Wahlberg.
Yeah.
Xavier
And
returns.
Wahlberg's like, I never ran a train on anybody in this room.
Yep.
And he's like, no, never mind.
Xavier returns to the safe room and finds a number on the back of Gus's neck. After realizing the numbers on the back of their necks are the combination for the safe, he kills Jonas with a spiked baseball bat to the head
Like you do.
and begins hunting the others. Laura, Beverly Mitchell from Seventh Heaven, succumbs to the nerve agent and dies after finding the clue that reveals Daniel is Donnie Wahlberg's son. Enraged by the revelation, Addison leaves on her own and finds a glass box containing an antidote, but her hands become trapped in the openings, which are lined with hidden blades.
Yes.
She begins to bleed out. Xavier enters the room and leaves her to die after reading the number on the back of her neck.
Because now he's trying to figure out the combination. That's the combination to get them out.
Amanda and Daniel find a tunnel from the first room leading to a dilapidated bathroom. It's the set from Saw 1.
I'm gonna snap you on the dick.
I just pictured Tony Soprano driving to Jaw Saw 10, right? And he's just doing that. Like that sounded like Tony Soprano getting so excited, like, I'm going to see this movie. You know what I mean?
They mentioned Saw in The Sopranos.
It's the 10th movie. I've seen all of them. All right? 10
I
years.
watched
20
this
years.
podcast, Franchise Flashback.
You ain't never seen those Saws.
Don't talk over the
All right, hold on.
franchise.
He pulls over. He
Yeah.
turns off the car.
Don't talk over the franchise flashback, okay?
All right. After Xavier
You said you
corners...
wanted to know before we went to see the movie. I'm letting you see it.
The music is great.
Hey, oh, yeah.
After Xavier corners them in the bathroom, Amanda taunts him by implying that he will not learn his own number because nobody will read it to him. Xavier responds by cutting off a piece of skin from the back of his neck to read his number.
He
Xavier
does it, and he's like, 6. Huh. Or is it 9?
That was
Why
exactly
didn't he put
what I
the little line?
Yep.
Come on.
Yeah.
Xavier charges them, and Daniel, not dead, slits Xavier's throat with a hacksaw. Daniel is a juvenile. Having seen Xavier chasing his son, Wahlberg assaults Jigsaw, beats him up, forces him to lead him to the house. Meanwhile, the tech team finally tracks the video source to the house, and while Riggs' team searches the house, they slowly realize the game took place before they captured Jigsaw, and Jigsaw was playing one of his famous games. It's all been a big trick.
So he was playing it on the TVs as if it was live.
Yeah.
You stepped on your own punchline.
What was it?
An April Fool.
Well, I just want to make it clear to you. That's funny. He was playing it like it was pre-recorded, but he was playing it as if it was live.
Yeah, because you have to have a moment at the
Yes.
end because the first movie had it.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
right.
Unfortunately, Wahlberg didn't get the memo or a phone call even, and he is on the way to the trap house. The timer for Wahlberg's game expires to reveal his son alive inside a safe that was in the room with Jigsaw and Wahlberg the whole time. Son is bound and breathing in an oxygen mask. Unaware of these events, Wahlberg enters the house alone and makes his way to the bathroom where he is subdued by a pig-masked figure. He awakens shackled at the ankle to a pipe and finds a tape recorder left by Amanda, who reveals she had become Jigsaw's accomplice after surviving her first trap and helped him set up Wahlberg's test during the game at the house, intending to continue Jigsaw's work after he dies.
I do remember that.
Yes.
Amanda then appears and she squeals and squeaks, game over, just like her big brother Jigsaw. Then she seals the door, leaving Wahlberg to die as Jigsaw hears his screams outside and smiles his adorable smile.
Yep. And so that's Saw 2,
Yep.
and Amanda becomes part of the Saw family. And I will say about the music, because you mentioned it, I wanted to wait till the end of this to say this. One of the deals they made with the composers for the original movie, I thought this was so cool and funny, was that they get to keep the publishing rights to the music. So they sold it to a ton of other movies, and it's in a ton of other movies.
Yeah.
There's a movie with Tom Cruise where he like fights Nazis. It's like a plan to kill Hitler.
Valkyrie.
Yeah.
Valkyrie. All the music is from Saw.
Which is true, by the way.
I know. But
The
all
Saw music was not playing when it actually happened.
Well,
when
we know of.
But it's funny because I saw the trailer a long time ago and I was like, what am I hearing? Like, this is so
Yeah,
familiar.
yeah.
And it's the music from Saw. It's the da-na-na, and it's like Tom Cruise going to kill Hitler.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is so bizarre, but they consistently license it to different movies.
I like that.
So interesting.
put the briefcase on the wrong side of the table. Blew up wrong.
Yeah, I heard about that.
But yeah, I'll say,
Oh, Jesus.
Saw
I just
2.
heard about that. What a bummer.
Saw 2.
You hear about this? They tried
Not
to kill
terrible.
Hitler? Couldn't do it.
Not a terrible movie.
It's okay.
The syringe trap.
Yeah.
It's weird because so many of the traps feel like unrealistic, but being poked by a syringe, like I know what that feels like. I
Yeah.
don't know what it's like to have my head in a reverse bear trap.
And I would say Saw did like what Jaws did for the ocean.
Yeah.
Saw did for that bucket of sharps that you sometimes see at a
Yes.
bathroom in like a hospital or
Yep.
something.
Oh,
Every
yeah.
time I see the sharps container, I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
the idea of like, oh, no.
And here's my most interesting fact about Saw 2. A guy wrote a script before Saw 1 came out called The Desperate. And people, and Saw was going around Hollywood as this unproduced script that people were reading,
Yeah.
and everyone was giving them note. Like, hey, it's too close to this other movie, Saw, that's already been circulating. So when they wanted to make a sequel for Saw, they brought the guy that wrote The Desperate in, and they took his script and just adapted it. And Saw 2 is
Yeah.
The Desperate, but they
Wow.
added in all the
Yeah.
Saw stuff.
Yeah.
So
That's
it's the same
crazy.
script.
Yeah.
We talk about irony killers, and it's like the syringes were supposed to be for the drug dealer.
Yeah.
And
Oh, yeah, that makes
the
sense.
trap where it was a woman ended up reaching up and getting her hands caught was for Gus, who got shot in the face earlier, because he was an embezzler and he got caught with his hands in the cookie jar.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
interesting. Okay.
And it's weird because you don't see how to escape that trap, but there's just like a little padlock on the back. And Jigsaw, the thinking is that Jigsaw was like, oh, people are going to rush into this trap without like looking.
Yeah.
And so you don't get to hear everyone's irony
Yeah.
in this one,
But it's there.
But the drug dealer one, and then the guy who burned up, it had to do with, I don't know, Satan or something. Like,
Yeah.
looked to the devil, and he had to like reach across fire to turn off the valve, and wasn't able to do it, and then like I don't know, he died.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
He
just
died,
like to
he
think.
died badly.
I like to think of Jigsaw with diabetes, giving himself insulin, and then tossing those needles into a bucket
Yep.
and chuckling to himself because he knows he's going to take that bucket over to his abandoned building
Yep.
Yes.
and fill that huge box up.
Yep.
Yes.
Because think of it, he had to fill that up with all those needles.
Lot
Of course.
You can't just open a package with needles already done.
Yep.
Yeah.
You got to add the actual needle to the syringe
Yep.
each time, and then toss it in. So think about how long it
Or
must
maybe
have taken him.
Maybe he just got discarded once from a hospital.
Ooh, that's even worse.
Way worse,
isn't it?
It's disgusting. Yeah.
You guys got any
Well, that's why he needs Amanda.
I can take a look at?
That's why he needs Amanda, because he's all old and he has cancer. He can't walk around.
Yeah,
She's young and vibrant, virile,
Yep.
sterile.
Nope.
It's very sad.
Are we ready?
Oh no, So, one of those needles. In another
She
world,
thought Billy
though,
was a baby.
I was gonna say, in another world, her falling into that needle bin, that would give her special powers. If this was
Yeah,
the Marvel
you're right.
universe,
You're right.
her falling in that bin, she would have gotten like, I don't know,
She's been a super saw.
super hepatitis or something.
Yeah. All right.
Saw 3.
This Saw 3 and 4 are towards the top of my ranking for the Saw movies.
For the Saw-niverse?
Now, so you may have seen Saw 2. You don't really remember.
I do. I did see Saw
the needle
2.
part.
I vaguely remember, like, once you got to the ending, I was like, yeah, because I know she's in on it.
So
in
now,
Saw 2.
now you're going into real Uncharted territory where you don't know where it goes after this. And I'm going to tell you a weird direction after this that has nothing to do with the first one. Everything in the series now has a lot to do with police. It's very strange.
Okay.
But that's a big part of the series.
And you said there was a turn, too, when Jigsaw started dancing.
Well, but it was Billy. He was a marionette. I got confused.
Oh, okay.
I'll also say, Chuck mentioned the police. Detective Allison Carey, Dizzy, she is in like a black turtleneck and a cop jacket, and she's got a cop hat on and a ponytail through it. And I'm like, I just learned something about myself. I have a thing. Strong women, ponytails.
Strong women with ponytails?
I guess.
oh, yeah.
Wow.
Authority figures? I don't know. I don't know what it was.
His therapist, Catherine.
I'm
Is an
trying to
authority
think,
figure.
though. I'm trying to think of other strong
It's you know what? I'll say the other one
Jennifer
was
Lopez isn't enough.
Shane Kristen Cloak, who played Shane Vanson in Space Above and Beyond in 1995.
I don't know that one.
Yeah,
What about...
It wasn't a super popular show.
How do you feel about Linda Hamilton in Terminator 2?
Yeah, she's all right.
That's a strong woman with a ponytail.
Yep. Maybe she needs the hat. I don't know. Saw 3. It's very specific.
I like costumery.
Saw 3.
Saw 3.
After being imprisoned in the bathroom in the previous film, Detective Eric Matthews, still Donnie Wahlberg,
Donnie Wahlberg's in the movie.
breaks his foot with a toilet lid to escape. 6 months later, the scene of another Saw game is discovered by the police.
Oh, no.
The victim had to rip chains from his body to escape a bomb. Detective Carey points out the room's exit was welded shut, breaking Jigsaw's MO of allowing his victims an opportunity to survive.
Yeah.
Because all the previous ones, you could do something to make it out.
Right.
But she found one that was completely unwinnable.
She is then abducted and awakens in a harness hooked into her ribs. She retrieves the key from a beaker of acid as instructed, but the lock does not open, and the trap inevitably kills her. Just rips her right open. Gross.
That's 2 traps in a row that are unwinnable. And
Another-
so we're like,
And you know
what's going on here?
You know what? I don't like it now. I
Also-
don't like it when the trap is unwinnable.
Well, that's the story of the movie.
Yep.
That's
Why
okay, all
are
right.
they unwinnable?
And it's a shame that Detective Carey's out already.
Yep. An attractive doctor.
Diz got done dirty again.
Yep.
all right.
An attractive doctor is abducted from the hospital she works at and brought to the now bedridden Jigsaw.
This is the doctor.
The cute doctor, yeah.
His cancer stinks.
Yeah,
Jiggy's
so she's kidnapped and to take care of Jigsaw in his warehouse.
Okay, I'm assuming that disc thing is going to be around her at some point.
Well, Jiggy's apprentice Amanda locks a collar armed with 5 shotgun shells around Lynn's neck.
Oh, I remember this in some way.
This is connected to Jigsaw's heart rate monitor and will detonate
Yes.
if she moves out of range or if Jigsaw dies.
Did
The-
I see Saw 3?
The attractive doctor is instructed by Amanda to keep him alive until another test subject has completed the game. The main victim in this picture is Jeff, a grief-stricken father who was consumed with vengeance after the death of his son due to a drunk driving crash. Jeff must undergo a series of tests at an abandoned meatpacking plant to confront those involved in the case. We get a flashback of Jeff's attachment to his son's belongings and kind of ignoring his dumb daughter. Sometimes Chuck edits Wikipedia.
Now, was Jeff likable? Because based on the photo that you've used, that guy's a douchebag.
He's more like a sad, pathetic, like mess of a man because his son was killed in
Yeah.
a drunk driving accident.
He's to the little girl, he's like, don't touch your brother's stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, well, he's grieving.
Yes.
He's
Yes.
grieving. But look at his face. That doesn't look like grief.
I had a lot of trouble with these
I
pictures.
think I got to be honest. In the movie, he's a little bit more run down. This guy,
Yeah.
I'd like fucking make out with that guy. You don't think he's handsome?
Based on his face, he thinks you're full of shit. And
I
like,
want
he
to.
wouldn't-
He's challenged.
No. He wouldn't
You know what
make
he looks
out
like?
with you.
Cool George Lucas.
He does look like cool George Lucas.
He does kind of look like a cool George Lucas.
know
He looks
what
like a
kind of name him?
country singer guy.
I love this.
I can't remember which country guy.
If I
because
was
I don't
If
follow
I was going to
country.
experiment, I'm not saying I'm interested in experimenting.
It would be this one. It would be the doll. Or Jiggy.
First of all,
Because Jiggy looks like an angry golden girl.
me banging that doll would not be experimenting. It'd be, territory that has been well worn.
All right.
By whom?
Jeff's first test leads him into a meat freezer
Leave my doll alone.
where he finds the only witness to the crash, who refused to testify in court. This woman is naked and chained to a metal frame inside the plant's freezer with nozzles inside a frame spraying her with water to quicken her hypothermia.
Okay.
She is completely naked, Ray. T and A, Ray, and another T. Jeff retrieves
What's
the key.
the other T?
Tit. That's the other tit.
It's one
T and A.
one T, one A, and the other
So
T.
you think TNA is one breast and then the ass? And you're like, well, now it's TTA or it's TAT, tit for tat.
Yep. Jeff retrieves the key after the hot naked lady persuades him to help her, but she freezes to death before he can do so.
Hot like the way she looks.
In his next test,
Temperature-wise, she's very cold.
In his next test, Judge Hamden, who passed a lenient sentence on the driver who caused his son's death, is chained at the neck to the bottom of a vat. Rotting pig carcasses are dropped into a grinder that slowly fill the vat until Jeff saves him. How does Jeff have to save him? By burning his dead son's belongings in an incinerator to retrieve a key. He has to let go. Judge Hamden is freed and accompanies.
Phone was in there.
Judge Hamden is free and accompanies Jeff to his next test. His third test involves Timothy, the driver who killed his son. Timothy is strapped to a cruciform machine that will slowly twist and snap his limbs and then his head.
Can I just say really quickly?
Yep.
I understand the idea, the motif here. But why are you laughing? I have a genuine psychology point to put out here. And because it does bother me. I understand the idea of you have to let go.
Yep.
But what I will say to any viewer listener that's out there who's experiencing grief in some way, the response to that should not be to destroy and get rid of all items that ever belonged to that person.
I know, that's what I think. That's what I'm laughing at.
That's unhealthy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If your response is like, oh, this person I cared deeply for passed away, I'm going to start a fire. That is not, you know what I'm saying?
I do. I agree.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. It is weird.
That part makes me laugh.
It is weird, like Amanda and Jigsaw are just like patting him on the back at the end, like, we really helped you get through it, huh? But why did I have to burn all of my deceased child's belongings? Like, I would like to hold the little teddy bear that he had
Yeah.
for his whole life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, if something happened to my son, I don't want that at all, but if something did happen, I would. There are things where I'm like, no, I have that forever. That's what I have left.
And you could give me the Switch that you're borrowing back because you'd have one.
That's exactly. That's right. Do you want it back? I'll give it back to you right now. I brought it with me. I treat it like shit.
That's true. He was doing it was out the window.
Oh yeah, I had the
in the rain.
cord plugged into it and dragging it on the ground.
Fortunately, I drive slow enough that it wasn't a problem.
Yeah.
Timothy is strapped to a cruciform machine that will slowly twist and snap his limbs and then his head.
Oh, my limbs and my head.
The key is tied to the trigger of an enclosed shotgun that goes off after Jeff retrieves it. The shotgun misses Jeff, but it unfortunately hits and kills Judge Hamden. Oh. Jeff also fails to save Timothy in time. The machine breaks his neck and snaps his head off.
But he is trying to save everybody.
Yeah.
So Jeff is he's a stand-up citizen.
Just a stand-up citizen, just not in that picture.
Oh
that
my
picture's
God.
like, you
That
want me to do what? That's what he said. You want me to do what?
I can't stand up because of Jeff in that picture.
Oh, he's so over it though. Jigsaw's like, and so you must do, and he's like, yeah. I get the idea.
Handsome in this picture?
Yeah, he's very handsome.
You don't think he looks like totally over it though?
This guy could,
Yeah,
I would
that's what
if
makes him handsome.
Let's say I went to a party and I was looking to meet someone for the night.
You're looking for
And I
Jeff.
went up to this guy and I went to him and I was like, oh, hey, I was trying to seduce him. And he gave me this. He's like, I don't give a fuck. I'm like, oh my God. I'd blow in the bathroom.
But all I'm saying is the facial expression that he is making is like if he was a villain in a movie and some child went, would you like a slice of pie, mister?
yeah, it is.
That's what him going, no. You know what I mean?
That's going to be the gray beard you wish for, though. If you're going to go gray, that's the good gray.
That's not a bad gray.
It's a good gray.
Yeah, it's a good salted pepper.
Yes.
Yeah. Anyway, fuck Jeff. I don't like him.
Okay. Amanda finds a secret note addressed to her and reads it. We do not know the contents.
Ooh.
The attractive doctor is forced to perform an improvised surgery against her will to relieve pressure on Jigsaw's brain. She warns that it's unsafe, he should be in the hospital, but Jiggy and Amanda refuse to leave and demand she does the surgery there. The surgery is successful, and the doctor convinces Jigsaw to order Amanda to remove her collar. However, Amanda refuses and threatens the doctor's life, having become jealous of her interactions with Jigsaw. Jigsaw pleads with Amanda to chill out.
Did you just say
Yep.
Jigga?
Yeah. That's what his name was.
Like Jigga, please. Like, is that what you're doing?
What? No.
What?
Jigga who?
Amanda admits that she no longer believes in Jigsaw's philosophy and had rigged Troy and Carrie's traps.
That's why the traps were unwinnable.
Exactly.
So Jigsaw's like, "You're a piece of shit. That's not what we're here for."
Yeah. And you know what it is? You know what it is?
Millennials.
Millennials. I don't know what it was. No, it is. I do think it's fun, like this idea of like he's kind of stuck with her.
Yeah.
Because he was like, you get it, and you can be a part of this. And now it's like, oh no.
Yep.
If I think that
I know the feeling.
So I think that I really do like the series. I kind of don't, I'll say at the end, I don't want to interrupt Brad's synopsis too much.
Refusing to listen to Jigsaw's warnings, Amanda shoots the cute doctor just as Jeff's traps are finished and he arrives in the room. Jeff is revealed to be the cute doctor's husband.
And it was her son too.
He retaliates.
QDMD?
Yep.
Yeah.
He retaliates by shooting Amanda with a gun provided by Jigsaw after his test. As Amanda dies, Jigsaw reveals to her that the cute doctor's test was actually hers. Jigsaw was aware of her motives and was unwilling to allow a murderer like Amanda to continue his legacy. Note from Brad, plus Amanda isn't even that hot. She's okay, I guess. I did
Wow,
not write
rude.
that.
Rude.
Jigsaw.
Hey, Brad. Do better.
Jigsaw then
Be
addresses
better.
Jeff, offering to call an ambulance for his wife, the cute doctor.
Hey, sorry about all this. I was trying to teach my daughter replacement a lesson.
Yes.
Because I believe in really complicated histories
Yes.
of lessons.
Yes.
Also, I was so upset with her murdering people that I allowed her to continue murdering people for a while until I could do a reveal.
Yes.
The ambulance will only come if Jeff has learned everything from his ordeal and accept one last test. Either kill Jigsaw or forgive him. In response, Jeff slashes Jigsaw's throat with a power saw, activating the cute doctor's collar as the room is sealed shut. Before dying, Jigsaw takes out a tape recorder to inform Jeff that his daughter, Corbett, was also captured and he's about to face another test. As Jigsaw lays dying, Amanda lays dying, and Jeff's wife, the cute doctor, lays dying, Jeff looks up from the carnage directly into camera, shrugs, and says, "Here we go again." Credits.
So
Yeah.
now here's what I wanted to say.
Yeah.
The idea of like, okay, we made Saw. It's an independent idea. This is very small. Saw 2, it's like, well, let's expand on the idea and we're going to bring in a protege. I think the idea of Saw 3 being like, oh, the protege is not following the rules and now she's being tested is a good conclusion. I like that a lot.
Yeah. It does muddy the waters of the traps.
Right.
We're starting to get further away from meaning behind the traps.
Why it's weird because the two initial traps
There's meaning.
like one is like there to kill the detective who's learning too much. We don't really know why the first one is there. Then the traps that Jeff is faced with isn't his physical danger. It's, are you willing to forgive?
Yeah. So you're
and,
kind of
and move on.
expanding.
And, how are you processing your grief?
But
I like the idea of him being like Jigsaw being like, so the first one will be like a little bit of forgiveness, then the next one will be like a little more forgiveness.
Right.
Yeah.
And by the time he gets to me, he will have been forgiving a lot of people,
Yeah.
so he'll probably forgive me
Yeah.
really quickly. He'll be like, no big deal, it's all over, it's fine.
Some of
Oh
the,
no, you shot me? Oh, I've got another tape recorder. The amount of tape recorders this
all right.
man has on his body.
I will say
He's
this.
like, what if Jeff didn't shoot him? What if instead Jeff said, I won't do either of these things? Then Jigsaw's like, oh, all right.
Well, he
that's
can't.
my-
You have to do one of them because he's shooting or not shooting.
No, I know, but listen,
He
he's
can't
like,
do half shoot.
he does something, stalemates him, and then Jigsaw's like, I didn't think I'd have to go for this one. Right back pocket, this recorder here. When you're done with that one, play this one from my left front pocket.
Yep.
And then this
Oh,
one.
wait, which one was-
Wait.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Shit, I should have labeled the tapes.
I'll say in this movie, you see him take one in a little micro cassette and he pours candle wax on it. No
we don't know
explanation.
why. And we also don't see what Amanda's letter said. But
Oh, yeah.
but just wait a minute.
I'm very disappointed in you.
Let me just say.
Yeah.
So Saw 3, Jigsaw's dead.
Yeah.
Amanda is dead.
Yeah.
Cute Doctor is dead.
Uh-huh.
So how does the series have 6 more entries before the new one coming out next week?
Right. That's what I said at the beginning of this. Like, wasn't he
On the verge of death.
terminally ill
Yes.
in the first one?
Yep.
Is it gonna be flashy, like flashback ones, like
We're
prequels?
gonna find out.
First of all, I mean, don't say it like that. Second of all, every story, every
Second
good
of
story.
all, play this little cassette.
You like to question our storytelling.
What?
Well, now you'll have to sit through an extended period of time of storytelling in a place that you aren't 100% comfortable in.
Even though it is pretty cool.
Even though it's cool, you still feel a sense of like feeling apologetic, I guess, about being there. And also, there will be a delicious pizza off camera for when this is all done. And
Taunting
you're
us.
starving because you haven't eaten since breakfast, and you're a fat boy, so you don't want to bring it up. You don't want to be the one in the friend group that says, "I'm hungry," because everybody's going to be like, "Well, of course he is."
God, how many minutes are on these
Hold on,
micro cassettes?
switch to tape 3.
And then it cuts out.
Please switch to tape 3.
I like the idea of him handing one to somebody and they start it and it's like,
So you enjoy baseball? And he's like, "Sorry, wrong table.
just read this one.
Enjoy baseball.
Like, where was that going? Right? Where was that one going?
Also, is that bad?
Yeah.
Thank you for calling the Kramer residence. We aren't at home right now.
Why don't you just tell me the movie you want to see?"
That's 3 references in.
Tell me that SNL hasn't done a Saw parody where he uses his home answering machine by
Yeah.
accident. That's hilarious.
You've reached.
You belong in a museum.
Well, and then it cuts to someone calling the house, and
Yeah.
the machine's like, "Hello, Ray."
It is Ray.
Hello?
Saw
Why are you
So
calling
you
him?
podcast, huh?
4.
Yeah.
Saw 4. The final
Saw
one.
4.
And you know what's good about the Saw movies? There's no subtitles because what you're getting is more Saw. They asked me to say that. I didn't want to say
you
that.
mean like a subtitle?
Yeah, like Saw 4
I thought
colon,
you
you're
meant-
getting more Saw.
Yeah. I thought you meant
like this.
subtitles in the movie.
No,
And I like how you're like, I like that there's no subtitles because they're all American talkers.
Right? No, he's playing. He's punishing the deaf. He's like, you're not gonna find out what we're saying.
Oh.
They have to figure it out with context clues.
Doesn't this sort of start to feel like this is like twisted, weird Taskmaster?
Yeah, I thought about Taskmaster
Oh,
a
it's
lot
just
as I was
Taskmaster,
watching.
right?
these.
Yeah.
Oh, so good.
Yeah.
Alex Horn is Jigsaw.
No.
Greg Davis.
Davis
Yeah.
is Jigsaw.
Yeah.
Alex Horn is
Amanda.
Billy.
Yeah.
Alex Horn comes in on a little tricycle. He hands them the tape recorder.
Yeah.
But what does that mean? Everything that you need to know is on the tape.
So it's somebody asking the tape, and it's just Saw 4.
Saw 4, Ray. So, hey, do you have any predictions? Do you have any predictions for Saw 4?
I predict
Yes.
that there will be
Yes.
killings of an uncommon variety. Okay.
Okay, let me check. Yeah, all
There
right.
will be grimy rooms,
2 for 2.
like scummy, right?
Yeah.
And the victims will have either troubles in their past or have done something bad.
Okay.
And in the end, there will be and I'm going to put the biggest quotes around this I possibly can, twist.
All right.
Okay.
Those are my predictions.
Okay. And I'll tell you one last fact. It's really fun for everyone to know. The original Saw movie was written to take place in a bathroom.
Yeah.
What they actually set it in was a meat packing plant cleanup room because they thought it would be more disgusting, and that's the concept behind it.
Okay.
Which is why there are hooks and there's
Yeah.
these huge basins and stuff, and I think that's really cool, and it
Yeah.
builds it.
Saw 4. An autopsy of the Jigsaw killer.
Hold on.
I have a new prediction.
Yes.
The warehouses around Jigsaw's place,
Yeah.
where he does all his super intricate killings.
Yeah.
It's being gentrified. They tear down the warehouses. They're building condos, right?
You were
and
close.
people are coming in, and like there's going to be a Trader Joe's and a Whole Foods, and he's like,
This whole neighborhood's changed too much.
and so he gets the city planners and he gets all the people involved, right?
Yeah, it's all about democracy.
Yeah, and he talks about how like you're making these homes all look cookie cutter. Well, in this situation, you have to get through the cookie cutters.
Yeah.
Right? And it's like, oh no, razor sharp gingerbread cookie cutters.
Let me tell you. I will say this: there are a couple big moments in the series,
Yeah.
and I think the opening of Saw 4 is one of the most exciting moments.
Okay.
That when I went to see it, I was like, what can they do? Jiggy dead, Amanda dead,
Yeah.
cute doctor dead. What could happen? Opening makes me feel full.
Okay.
An autopsy of the Jigsaw killer reveals a wax-coated microcassette in his stomach.
Guy. That's why he was pouring the wax on the tape. Fuck
in the
off.
last movie. No, that's great. That's good storytelling.
This fucking guy. That's great storytelling. We'll put it in this movie, and people will go, "What was that about?" For 2.5 years, and then
That's great.
1 year.
we won't even really allude to it too much. People
This
will
is
have to
why
connect the dots.
Everyone says that you provide no anticipation. That's the common.
I provide no anticipation.
Nobody has said that about anyone ever.
They provide no anticipation. Actually, people have said that about Sean in the bedroom about his premature
But that's
situation.
pretty exciting. You're
Let's
watching.
just say he's got a premature situation.
Think about you're watching a movie. You know the main character's dead, and then the sequel comes.
the
you
main
say,
character's dead.
How are they going to do this?
How are they gonna do
And then
it?
they start with an autopsy on your main character. You're thinking this is going to go just as normal,
Yeah.
but no, they cut open his stomach and there's a secret cassette. That's very exciting. Philadelphia 2.
No. Jesus.
There is a wax-coated microcassette in his stomach, and Detective Hoffman, Jeff,
Oh yeah.
is told. Detective Hoffman is told to listen
Dustin
to it.
Hoffman?
No.
No.
The tape promises Hoffman that even though Jigsaw is dead, quote,
Is that
It's
The-
not anybody.
the games have just begun.
I'm going to give you a little piece of information.
Yeah.
They cast 2 new people in this movie who are both detectives.
Yeah.
They have exactly the same build. They have very similar haircuts, and they're almost identical.
Okay.
And the casting director is the biggest criminal for Saw 4, and that she's the worst because they look so similar, and they're both 2 new important characters.
Okay.
It is so frustrating.
All right.
I don't think he's anybody. I mean, he might be in some stuff.
I don't know. Why now back to back, Jeff and Detective Hoffman, both of them, they just look like sour little bitches, don't they? They look so shitty.
Well, his son died.
Well, not in that photo, not the actor.
This was from the set.
You want me to do what?
He was. We said be in character. We took it, snapped.
You want me to do what?
Every time he gets.
And then this guy's like, I'm a detective.
Well,
I get it. This is a still from the movie when he's making fun of the pursed little face that Jiggy does. Now, if you've seen him out there, he's out there somewhere. He's always walking around going like this
He
with
goes- he
pursed little
goes- he
mouth.
goes.
He's got a little tight butthole mouth.
So when they take out the tape,
Yeah.
it says, like, I assure you, Detective Hoffman, even though I'm dead, the games have just begun. Now that's an exciting moment that thrills us all 3.
Cut to a mausoleum.
It makes
We're cutting to a mausoleum.
people's eyes have rolled out of their skulls.
Speaking of eyes, a man named Trevor and a lawyer named Art Blank are chained to a large device.
Art Blank,
Trevor's eyes have been sewn shut, and Art's mouth has been sewn shut, making communication between them impossible.
Now that's good.
when
that's
the device
a fun trap.
begins pulling them together toward their death,
kiss.
they panic, and Art kills Trevor to retrieve a key for his collar.
Okay.
The keys are like on the back of their neck, but they can't communicate with each other.
Yeah.
That's pretty smart.
But like, was there a way for both of them to get out of that?
If they figured out how to
unclear.
communicate.
Yep. Also unclear as to why they were in it.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the police discover the
Is that like a ropes course?
Yes.
Like this is how
Yes.
they work together?
Yeah.
Oh no, is somebody going to send us on this so the podcast like we
That would be
we
good.
work better together?
the
so.
jigsaw ropes course. Meanwhile, the police discover the remains of Detective Allison Carey from Saw 3. She was the nice lady who had her ribs pulled off of her body. After cautioning
Is
Officer
from-
after cautioning Officer Rigg for barging through an unsecured door, Hoffman is introduced to FBI agents, including Agent Strom, who deduced that Amanda, Jigsaw's apprentice, would have needed assistance with Carey's death, indicating there is another apprentice on Team Jigsaw. Oh, you're going to sigh like that so many more times.
I know. I'm already starting.
All right, do you think those guys look similar?
They're too similar to introduce at the same time.
I think in the realm of this world where there's 2 police people, with, they're both two just kind of
Like white, stocky, short brown hair.
They're both from the same casting folder.
Exactly.
I will say that. I don't think they have similar faces
Face?
necessarily,
Right.
but I think they both come from the same folder in the casting office of just, random policeman.
You know what's weird though too? They each, for the whole movie, they wear a blue paisley tie. Both of them, same tie.
Maybe that's going to come up in Jaws 10.
It was a joke.
No, sorry, Saw 10. Jaws 10.
Wow.
Oh no.
Jaws saw.
See, here's the problem. I think Saw is, I think Saw has the same issue that like a Jaws would have, right? Which is the original has such a tight thing going on, and then you can stretch out that storyline.
Yeah.
The motives and what they're doing, maybe to 3 movies, trilogy of Saw, the Saw trilogy, right?
Sure, yeah.
Which I think the third one does end with like, they're all done, right? You get into this territory where it's like, there's not enough structure at the bottom here.
Here's the
to
thing.
keep building up and up and up and up.
That's what you'd think.
That's what happened with Jaws.
But now we have 6 more A+ movies.
Where they get to Jaws 3, this time it's personal, and it's like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, I know.
The shark dead.
Yeah, I know.
All right.
Son of Jaws.
That evening, Rig is kidnapped. Meanwhile, Hoffman writes a little note and tucks it into his desk drawer. The screen flickers.
I thought you would be here. Where are you? That's what I can picture this man saying.
The screen flickers. There's a pig mask behind Hoffman. Oh no.
Uh-oh.
Rig wakes up and is told that Eric Matthews, a.k.a. Donnie Wahlberg from Saw 2, is in fact still alive.
Okay.
He's been alive through both movies. We didn't see him.
Okay.
And Rig is given 90 minutes to save him.
Rig, you got 90 minutes to save Donnie Wahlberg.
We see Donnie Wahlberg is in a noose above a quick melting block of ice. On the other end of a platform, Hoffman is in a chair.
Chained up.
So the ice is melting. At 90 minutes, he will hang. The water will connect a circuit, electrocute Hoffman.
Okay.
There's a third man in the room playing tapes that explain the rules to them. Who could that be?
We don't know.
Rig,
We know that Jiggy's dead. We know Amanda's dead. Who is the third man? Who is this?
Billy. It turns out it was a little person.
Rig is then given his first test where he finds a pimp named Brenda strapped to a device that scalps her. He rescues her barely in time.
Wait.
Yep.
Rewind it a little bit.
I thought that was weird too when I read it.
Did you say a pimp named Brenda?
Yeah.
Thought it was weird.
What?
Yeah.
A pimp named Brenda?
Yeah, that's
Women
correct.
can be pimps, Ray.
Can they? I didn't know that.
Ask Brenda.
I didn't know. Is this sexist of me? I don't know.
It is.
What's-
She's a madam.
Yeah.
Then put down madam.
Look, I don't write
You don't write
Wikipedia.
pimp. Only boys can be pimps. Only boys can be pimps. Everybody knows this.
Rig
Otherwise, who can make sense of a pips and hoes party?
Good point. Good point.
Who could make
the
sense
clothing.
of it? It would be just a whole bunch of boys and girls coming to the party dressed as pimps.
This is you turning into Jiminy Glick?
Yes. So this is my Jiminy Glick origin story. Who's gonna make sense of the pimps and hoes party?
Rig rescues her.
Ooh, that would be a good jigsaw. That he would make an amazing jigsaw.
Yeah, he would.
Now you said you were addicted to heroin. Well, there's a bit of an irony situation going on. Okay, I'm sorry.
That's all right. Brenda attempts to stab Rig. Rig subdues her and learns that Brenda was told Rig was there to arrest her for prostitution, and her choice was kill him or go to jail.
If she was being arrested for prostitution,
I know.
is she the pimp?
She's doing it all, Ray.
I didn't write Wikipedia.
Women are doing it for themselves.
I'm a director. I'm an editor. It's the same fucking. It's the same exact world.
It's sort of like a one-woman business.
yeah.
F-
She's a prostitute and her own pimp.
Yeah, because she
Girl
has
boss.
no other. She has no other clients. She has no other people under her.
She's
It's like
also
I'm a
her own
one-woman
John.
business.
She's her own John too.
Yeah. Oh, it's all rough. It's real rough.
Agent Strom.
When she stabbed at him, did she go?
No, she charged at him.
She charged at him. Did
Yeah.
she go pimp stab? And
When I read your thing and it said, a pimp named Brenda,
It's
I was
not
like,
my thing. All I did was copy and paste from Wikipedia.
I
Who
would
pressed
watch.
paste?
I would watch that
I don't
movie. Listen, I would watch that movie. I would read that book, whatever it is. A Pimp Named Brenda.
Yep.
Give me that show.
It's a sequel to A Fish Named Wanda.
Yeah, A Pimp Named Brenda.
Yeah.
I love it. On
Eight-
Showtime.
Agent Strom interrogates Jigsaw's ex-wife, Jill.
Jill Jigsaw.
Jill saw.
She recounts
By the
Jigsaw's.
way, Jill.
She can get it.
She can get it.
She can get it.
Now, here's my thing: is like, look, just look at the two of them.
There's a 21-year age difference.
Jill Jigsaw,
That seems normal to me.
and then you go up to Jiggy,
You're 39 years old.
the
It's perfectly legal.
the elderly woman who has had enough.
Yep.
That's who Jiggy is.
Yep.
Jiggy is the elderly woman who is very upset
Yep.
that you are using street language
I am.
in line behind her.
Yeah, I said the
Okay.
word pimp.
Yeah.
Jill Jigsaw is basically a pinup.
Yeah.
By the way, she's 60.
Now.
Okay. In that photo?
No.
Like almost.
I mean, I guess.
She looks great in that photo for 60.
She's not.
She was
She's
probably,
looks
she was,
like
she was-
shit for
she-
60.
she was probably 45 in that photo, and he was probably 70 in that photo.
Yeah. Yeah.
that's the.
By the way,
That's what I hope to achieve.
My cancer treatments make me really bitchy.
Right? That's what you say.
Da-na-na, da-na-na.
Now I'm gonna go to Best Buy and argue with the geek counter.
Man, I'm so similar to Jigsaw.
Ooh, the pieces are all coming together. Right?
Age difference.
Yeah. You've got
arguing
your
at
own
Best
little
Buy.
puppet. I pointed at
I
Brett.
like to play mean little games.
Yeah.
You do.
You are. You think you have moral superiority.
Yep.
I'm a good engineer.
Did you almost break your monitor when you were setting it up?
It's fine.
Okay.
It's fine.
Jill recounts Jigsaw's backstory.
you often create a horrible situation and go, well, it is your fault.
I leave people close to death and say,
Yeah. You do something horrible and then go, yeah, but you were pretty shitty about 5 years ago. So let's think about that.
It's funny because it's true.
shut up, Amanda.
Billy.
Jill recounts Jigsaw's backstory. Jill was once pregnant with their child, but suffered a miscarriage when a junkie named Cecil
Cecil the junkie.
robbed the
Who
clinic.
wrote this?
Robbed the clinic at
Brenda
which
the
she
pimp
was
and Cecil the junkie.
employed.
Do you see why I felt like we needed this board?
Yeah.
This is Cecil.
Cecil, played by Stephen King's stunt double.
Cecil robbed the clinic at which she was employed and accidentally slammed a door into her stomach.
My pregnant.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
it.
Ooh, my pregnant.
He hit me right in the pregnant.
Riggs
I hope
next.
someone takes this clip out of context. It's like Ray Harrington memes.
Ooh, my pregnant. I hope someone takes it out of context.
Yeah, Chuck's off.
Chuck's on.
Riggs' next test is saving a serial rapist. Rig fails and the rapist dies. Whatever.
Oh no.
The ice is melting under Donnie W, though. Tick tock, Rig. Riggs' next
Mark
test.
is like, if I was there, it never would have happened. I simply would have blown on the block of ice so it stayed cold. That's all. That's all you got to do. It's easy. You just go, come on, Donnie, you fucking idiot. Do it.
I'm all the way up here. I'm hanging.
Hey, you want to go see Socks?
Riggs' next test is saving physically abusive parents. There are spikes going through soft parts of her body and fatal parts of his body. If she removes them, he will die, but she will live. The man dies, but Rig tells the mother she must remove the rest of the spikes herself, refusing to help her before leaving and pulling a fire alarm so that emergency people can respond.
Because Jigsaw wants him to like see that there is redemption in these criminals. Because Riggs, like, you know, a justice man.
See what I see, judge how I judge. A lot of that.
Yeah. See what I'm doing isn't so bad. If you were in my position,
So
you
he's-
would
he's
you
saying,
would
like-
simply create abstract and difficult traps and kidnap people and
He-
cause their
so
deaths.
he thinks that Riggs should be, you know, forgiving
Right.
of these criminals.
You know, it makes sense. Now with Jiggy's face, his little sourpuss face, because guess what? You know what I'm going to say about that man? Very judgmental.
Yeah.
Very judgmental.
Jigsaw is judgmental.
Jigsaw is very judgmental.
He is.
Yep.
Always passing judgment.
Yeah.
Detective Strom and other cops arrive on the scene of the parent trap, LOL. Finally, the police realize that all of the victims were at some point defended by the same lawyer, Art Blank.
From the
Art
beginning.
Blank.
From the beginning.
By the way, if you ever are in a
I
situation,
would never.
if you had a lawyer named Mr. Blank,
Yep.
get out of there. Get out of there.
In a flashback,
There he is.
We see Art Blank gives Jill Jigsaw her inheritance from Jiggy, which is all contained in a box. We do not see the contents.
What's in the Jigsaw inheritance?
There's just a whole lot of tapes. There's so many
No,
tapes.
not for me. I know.
No,
I see that you.
no, that's not me.
You have a love of crocheting.
That's a drug addict.
Hold on,
Yeah.
this one could
This
be me.
one's a
No,
drug-
no, it's not me.
Dealer. Okay. This one's a rapist. Yep. Okay.
Jaywalker, that's me.
Oh.
Oh no.
How do you know?
At the scene of the parent trap, double LOL, a photographer is accidentally killed, and one of the FBI agents, Agent Perez, where's the photo,
More photos?
finds Billy, Jigsaw's puppet, in the office. Brad note, no one cared at all when this photographer died. No one flinched. Like the trap went off and shot her in the face, and
Yeah.
it wasn't like nobody
Oh my God,
reacted.
somebody
There was
just
no
died in front of
emergency.
us?
It was just like, huh. Like, bizarre choice.
Wow.
Perez continues with the investigation.
Look at this casting. Look at this wall of Canada.
Yeah.
It's just it's a sea of Canadian actors,
Yeah.
right? Doesn't it feel like they're all Canadian?
yeah.
Yeah.
Perez continues with the investigation before Billy's face explodes, sending shrapnel into her face. She's in critical condition.
He's booby trapping his traps, so he doesn't want you to.
Yeah.
You know, he doesn't want you to meddle too
If
much.
there's, if there's one thing I hate more than anything in the world is somebody messing with my traps.
See?
God damn it.
Strom is enraged that Perez is hurt and further interrogates Jigsaw's wife, Jill. Jill reveals that Cecil, who was responsible for the unborn child's death, had been previously killed by Jigsaw.
So Cecil was killed in the past by Jigsaw, but we just found out about this whole thing.
Okay. Can someone do the meme? You know the meme of the lady that's thinking real hard and then you see like beautiful mind imagery
Yeah.
up there? If someone could do that with my face for this part here, I'll do it and then you add in all the
I'll say this, you're going to need that face. You're going to need
Shapes
that
and
meme many more times.
well, then we'll have it for the edit for Craig to throw
Great.
this in. So I'll do the face.
Okay.
And Craig, if you just grab this, grab 3 seconds of it.
Yeah.
And then just throw it in whenever you want. You know what I mean? Really, just throw it in. Ready? I'll do the face. Here we go. Like,
That's why I put up the board, because Ray was like,
oh, and there we go. There
All
we
right,
go.
great.
Ray was like, why do we need this board? I'm like, because there's so many characters, it's gonna get confusing.
Yeah,
It's
this has cleared it up totally.
All right.
5 more movies, folks.
Strom makes connections from Jill's story to the Gideon Meat Factory, the scene of Rig's final test.
Gideon meats.
Yes. Rig arrives is the name of their onboard
I
child.
think for the rest of the movie, which is coming to a close, I think we should do no interruptions because there's just a lot of
of stuff.
flow.
Strom arrives to the factory immediately after Rig. They both progress through the factory separately. Rig finds items he doesn't recognize. A keychain with the family photo, an open letter. In a room close by are Donnie Wahlberg and Hoffman. We learn the third man in the room holding them captive is Art Blank, the guy from the first trap. After his trap concluded, he was forced into running this trap for Hoffman and Wahlberg. It's revealed that if the door to this room opens before Rig's timer expires, Wahlberg's head would be crushed between 2 giant blocks of ice, and Hoffman would be electrocuted. We see Rig approaching. We see Strom approaching. We cut to a third man approaching, and it's revealed to be Jeff, the protagonist from Saw 3. What's he doing here? Jeff approaches the room. We hear the voice of Amanda. We hear the voice of John Kramer. The ending of Saw 3 commences as we realize Saw 4 and Saw 3 are happening at the same time. Parallel films, Ray. We hear the closing scene of Saw 3 play out as we approach the end of Saw 4. Rig charges through the door with 1 second to spare, despite Donnie Wahlberg's attempts to stop Rig by shooting him. Donnie is crushed by 2 blocks of ice, turning him into a Wahlburger.
There you go.
Riggs shoots Art while, in another room, Strom encounters Jeff just after he's killed Jigsaw at the end of Saw 3. Jeff brandishes a gun, Jeff brandishes a gun. Strom kills Jeff, ACAB, while Hoffman, who was never in any danger and is, in fact, Jigsaw's other apprentice, rises and seals a dying Rig and a bewildered Strom in the factory.
Sucks.
No!
I hate it.
Is that it? How do you say that? What do you mean? That's amazing.
What if the twist was it's the same movie, but it's happening at the same time?
That's really good. What's wrong? What's bad about that? Why is that bad?
Because we're getting to that stage. We're getting to the stage in a
No,
thing
we're not.
like this where it's like,
We've never been
you
there.
know what it's called? It's called the M. Night Shyamalan effect, where if you become known for having a twist,
I agree with that.
You have
Yeah.
to add the twist.
Oh, I agree with that.
I'll say this. I loved this moment when we realized what happened.
Okay.
I do.
Maybe
My
it
first
plays-
watch through, yeah.
Yeah,
Maybe
it-
it plays better when you're watching it.
For sure.
But hearing the description of it
Well, one
immediately
thing-
following the description of the twists of 3 other movies.
Yeah.
Well, I think the problem is too. We're doing these condensed things where we
Yeah.
introduce all these characters and we're going through it in 5 minutes as opposed to living with them for 90 minutes.
Right.
But the idea of the movie taking place at the same time, you know, as a way to solve like, well, how is Jigsaw's dead? Amanda, how is
Yeah,
this?
yeah.
And being
Yeah.
like, well, this is actually happening at the same time.
Yeah.
This is what I think about Saw in general and this kind of world is you would never be allowed to do this in a movie series like that was, you know, being having a lot of money and a lot of marketing put into it because most people that are behind the scenes, the producers, the production company would be like, it's too confusing.
Yeah.
What if people are seeing this one only?
Yeah,
You know what I mean? All
yeah.
this stuff. But the fact that they're like, no, it's Saw. People are coming for the traps. They're coming for the whatever.
It's horror, and
Right.
and in horror you can do
You,
more.
you can do this kind
More.
of story stuff. So I think a story moment like this, where it's like, well, you can't find it anywhere else, is kind of really fun to come across, especially if it surprises you.
Sure.
I don't love the. I mean, I think that doing the Amanda as the apprentice is fine.
Yes, I
don't
agree.
love
Now
continually
there's another
adding
one. Now
apprentice.
there's another one.
I
Now
don't
there's
like
another one.
that.
Yeah.
I don't like. But the conclusion, you finding out they happen at the same time, I really
Yeah.
enjoy. I really liked it.
It's tough because you're painted into a corner from the first movie,
Yes.
and you just don't. It's that same situation that comes up a lot of times
Yeah.
when you do try and franchise a movie that has no need to be franchised.
Say there's a lot more paint coming, Ray.
Okay, good.
Lot more paint.
Lot more paint, and the room gets smaller.
Yeah, it's just, you're still in the same corner.
Yeah.
Lot
And
more
one thing
paint.
that's interesting that me and Ray touched on it last night on the phone a little bit is that with the previous big horror series that have this tons of sequels,
Yeah.
Halloween, Friday 13th, all that stuff, it's so much easier to sequelize because story isn't at the heart of what's going on.
Right.
It's we see this character in this world and he kills people in this way and this is the aesthetic. But when Saw is like, well, an important part of this is story, then you really paint yourself in a corner in a different way. Jason can
Yeah.
be kind of anywhere.
Right, right.
You know, or Michael
Space.
Myers,
Hell.
whatever. But it's like, if you're like, no, it's about this one guy who has cancer and is 60 in 2003.
yeah.
What are we doing?
Yeah.
You know, it's really
I'll
tough.
say definitively dead now. Lawyer Art, definitively dead. Jeff, definitively dead. Wahlberg, definitively dead. Jiggy, dead.
Amanda.
dead.
Yeah.
Billy lives forever, even though his face blew up.
Yeah.
And Perez, critical condition at the end of 4.
And Cecil's dead.
yeah, Cecil, very dead.
Yeah.
But yeah, so now we're filling in the backstory. Ray he's
Well, that was great. I want to thank you for going through all of the Saw movies
that
with
was
me,
part
and
one.
I'm really
Yeah,
That was
excited
part one.
about
No,
that.
we still have
And,
several more movies.
So we're a little bit less than 50% through.
yeah, 44.4%
But there can't
of the way
possibly
through.
be more. I mean, what are there? Is there like one more movie or?
Oh no, there's 3 more movies in this story, then a bonus one, then a completely different one that's from the Book of Saw.
The Book of Saw.
So there's 5 more.
The Book of Saw?
You've heard of
That's
the
Like the Book of Saul?
yes,
Also not a
right.
book.
That's where they got the idea.
Okay. Well,
Get ready for part 2.
Part 2 coming next week, baby. The Funbearable Halloween train continues with Ray as the conductor.
choo choo.
Thank you, and we're sorry for being Funbearable.
We should be saw-bearable. No, that's not good. Never
No, it's
mind.
really bad.
Fun sawable. No, fun
Fun
bear
bear
saw.
saw.
I would wear a Funbearable.